Tonight, a great injustice. A career FBI bureaucrat and Clinton crony walks free, while a Trump associate faces maybe 9 years in prison. Both men are accused of lying to federal investigators, but only one is paying the price. Good evening, everyone. I am Trish Regan. The Department of Justice tonight announcing that it will not pursue its indictment against Andrew McCabe, who was deputy director of the FBI under President Obama and who was fired by President Trump over his, quote, lack of candor, to say the least, about leaks to the media. Translation, lying. McCabe was a career government insider whose own wife took nearly $700 grand worth of donations for her state Senate campaign from a Clinton-connected bundler, all while her husband, Andrew McCabe, oversaw an investigation into Hillary Clinton's email. He was later accused of lying to federal investigators about whether he authorized two FBI officials to speak to the media for a report detailing tensions within the FBI and the Justice Department over the Clinton email case, as well as a separate investigation of the Clinton Family Foundation. He initially denied having done so when FBI officials asked, and then later the Inspector General's office, when they tried to determine who might have actually spoken to the media, found out that it was actually a total of 4 times that he apparently may have been lying, 3 of them under oath, and he was even misleading his boss, then FBI Director James Comey. You see, but he was lying. Meghan McCain asked him flat out, have you ever been a source of the New York Times? And, well, he got tripped up in this one, because he lied on TV and then he lied under oath. On August 18, 2017, FBI officials met with McCabe in an attempt to work through what they said was conflicting information. They had gathered all they could about the possible leak to the Wall Street Journal, and an agent asked McCabe point blank, did you authorize this article? Were you aware of it? Did you authorize it? McCabe looked at the story that he had reviewed months earlier and said, according to the investigator, yep, I did. So there you go. Meanwhile, Republican operative Roger Stone was convicted in federal court of 7 felonies for obstructing the congressional inquiry, including lying to investigators under oath and trying to block the testimony of a witness. The inquiry, of course, into all the Mueller stuff. Remember that one. He's facing years in jail now for lying, and granted, he never should have lied. But keep in mind, this was an investigation into nothing. An investigation that never should have happened in the first place. You got to wonder, why do people around the president keep finding themselves in all this trouble? It's certainly a question the president is asking himself.
Very unfair to my family, very unfair to a lot of great people that work in the administration, very unfair. You know, we've gone through this for 3 years. This isn't just the impeachment hoax. This is the witch hunt, I call it, the Russia nonsense.
Meanwhile, the left is going absolutely bonkers because the Attorney General, whom I would say actually gave Andrew McCabe an awfully sweet deal, walking away totally free, is out there questioning Stone's sentencing.
We are witnessing a crisis in the rule of law in America.
Attorney General William Barr ought to be ashamed and embarrassed.
That the president actually has the right to question the fairness of these sentencings. He even has the right to pardon someone or issue a commutation, thereby reducing a sentence. Obama did it 212 times. And he cut down on sentences more than 1,700 times. And let's be clear, President Obama also interfered in cases repeatedly. Consider this one, when, without knowing a darn thing, he insisted there was no there with Hillary Clinton, who was under investigation for her emails. You know, there were a whole bunch of other cases. I detailed a lot of them last night on this program. Bottom line, I want to know why there are 2 different standards. Why would an anti-Trump bureaucrat whose wife took $675K for her state Senate campaign from an individual connected to Hillary Clinton, all while her husband investigates the Clintons, why does he get off scot-free while the Trump associate is heading for jail? Meanwhile, AG Barr, he might be asking himself the very same question in some ways, right? Because he just installed an outside prosecutor to review the case against Michael Flynn. That tells you he doesn't trust his own investigators. You know, it's time the swamp really and truly be drained. And that's tonight's intel.